Shalom, shalom, and welcome. This is Yahuah, Living Orders and Commands. It is an end-time series to those who seek to do the will of the Almighty Creator, who seek to discover and do His will. The Almighty Yahuah is His name. Before I begin this segment, I want to ask you, my brothers and sisters, is it not wise to realize that a father is commanded to manage his household, or some might even say his tribe? What would you think of a father who allowed his household to run erratic, out of control, out of order completely? What type of father would that be? Given the response that crossed your mind just that quick as a reaction to the question that I pose, consider the Almighty Creator, who we have come to know as the Almighty Father. Do you think as Almighty Father, that He would allow His household to do whatever they want to run around erratic? Or do you think He would establish order, discipline? I believe He will, and I believe He has, and I believe He will continue. With that said, this segment of Yahuah, Living Orders and Commands, is entitled Fear Yahuah. Today is February 27th, 2015. My name is Symmanayah if you're tuning in for the first time. With that said, my brothers and sisters, much time has passed since I recorded more frequently messages to Yahuah. Many years have passed since I recorded the very first message on YouTube and other media outlets. And over the years, I must admit, my brothers and sisters, as I believe the Spirit of Yahushua has revealed things to me concerning Yahuah and end times, my heart is heavy. I am heavy, for I hear and see and witness so many people wanting to talk about what they believe to be set apart and true, knowing that they come into others who are in disagreement. My heart is heavy because I do not see among Yahuah many of us asking one another questions and listening to the response of what we believe to be true, or what we believe to be correct interpretations of scriptures. So many are reading the scriptures and telling their story, their position, based off of their own interpretation, void of listening to the Spirit of Yahushua. We are divided on so many fronts, but yet we call ourselves Yahuah. We call ourselves children of Yahuwah. My heart is heavy because I believe that the promises that the Most High have made regarding disciplining those whom He loved, the promises He made regarding His chastisement, we will see unfold like never before. I'm compelled to believe that many details regarding what's ahead for man have been revealed to me and many others, but yet Yahuah, we are slow to begin to inquire and ask questions, more questions, exhaustive questions of one another, and weigh the answers that reach our ears. Let me be perfectly clear. Given the sum of what you and others have witnessed coming from me, I do not know of any other direction to turn. I find my comfort in discerning what the Spirit of Yahushua has revealed through His Word, His written and living words, making them whole, directing my eyes and understanding to be able to connect what is written in scriptures. I have no doubt that we have entered into birth pains as described in scriptures. I have no doubt that Yahuah, true Yahuah, the children of obedience, consist of Hebrews or Arabi and Gentiles or Goyim, who seek to do the will of the Almighty Father Yahuwah, grafted together as one body by Yahushua Messiah. I have no doubt that a final exodus is coming to fulfill what is written regarding the gathering of a scattered nation who was once who were once asleep. By now there may be those among you who have witnessed the frequency of recordings that I have produced and have dropped over the past and realize that frequency has dropped over the past 2 weeks. Make no mistake, I am still alive and continue to receive what I believe are instructions from the Spirit of Yahushua. I am aware that I stumble, and yes, I fall at times, but it is definitely through the coming to know the power of the blood of the Lamb, Yahushua, and identifying his presence that I find strength and press forward and continue to work towards worshiping and obeying him. The less frequencies of my recordings are not the result of a fumble or a stall or a fall. The less frequency is communing with the Spirit of Yahushua and moving as he sees fit, as he directs my path. End times have arrived, and the wrath of the Almighty Father has begun. It has begun, and it is growing with intensity, and soon the world will come to know the power and might of the Almighty Yahuwah as it becomes more widespread globally. For soon we will come to accept and witness the actions of what it means to face an appointment to total extinction in these earthen vessels as we know it. From time to time we will watch brothers and sisters and even the non-believers drop off in death and physical death. We will watch those who are walking in obedience be called to sleep. But there are many of us who will find ourselves refined, disciplined, reproved, instructed, and directed to participate in the final exodus to fulfill what is written regarding Yasharal being gathered from the four corners of the earth. There are 4 basic things we need to realize that will be a critical component towards the fulfillment of end-time prophecies. And these natural and practical things, as I mentioned before, is fresh water, fresh air, food, and a safe place to dwell. The wrath of the Almighty Father is unfolding, and if you look around, global warming and climate change is creating the results of such has created prolonged and widespread drought that is spreading across the planet. Sooner or later, we will come to realize that as a result of these prolonged droughts, that food inventories are dwindling and vanishing. Sooner or later, we will come to realize the conditions on this planet are worsening beyond our ability to find solutions. We will find ourselves facing forced migrations, forced transitions, looking for fresh air, more than anything, fresh water and food in a place that we will believe to be safe. As end times continue to become intense, they will reach our neighborhood, they will reach our doorsteps, they will reach our face, where we will see the wrath of the Almighty Father unfolding with a disciplining hand to his children and executing his vengeance on the wickedness that is going before this earth. Pray and watch, my brothers and sisters. Wickedness is rising like never before, and we have yet to turn back to the Most High Father Yahuwah. Many have struggled to discern the life in the scriptures, which inform us of the need to embrace, accept Yahushua as Mashiach, as Messiah. And those who truly seek to do this will, the will of the Almighty Father, will come to know the importance of Yahushua Messiah and how his living, set-apart spirit will guide and direct us, will work in us one towards another, work in us and through us, and we will see a rise of his chosen leaders in due season like never before. My brothers and sisters, I believe as Revelations present details of end times, that they are becoming more and more vivid to me. I am convinced more and more as end times become intense, it will be like a ton of bricks to those who seek set apartness to get us in line, to bring us into unity, to bring us into the perfection, to bring us into the refinement. It will be like a consuming fire, shaping and forging us into the likeness of what is ordered by the Almighty Father. As the Spirit of Yahushua works in us, through us, one towards another, and through his rising chosen leaders. Yes, my heart is heavy. It is heavy because we do not ask enough questions. It is heavy because I do not see enough of us inquiring to understand. Is it important to read the scriptures? Indeed. Is it important to study? Indeed. But how many of us have faced individuals who say, let us pursue the voice of the Spirit of Yahushua. Let us seek to discern his living presence among us, that we may obey his commands regarding these end times. As I pondered in my heart, in my mind, as I prayed, as I rested and meditated, it was as though the Spirit of Yahushua pressed upon me to present this segment. And I asked if I was dying today, if this was my last breath, if this was the last recording I was ever to present, if these were the last words I were to ever speak to anyone, what would those words be? And I found myself resting with two words: fear Yahuah. Fear Yahuah, my brothers and sisters. There's much work to be done, complete with many tasks that will be done, not maybe. They will be carried out regarding the final days of the children of Yahuah. The time is at hand when we will begin to realize that this refinement will come with orders, living orders and commands. The time will come when there will emerge a sense of urgency, and we will see a group who will become known as the children of obedience. The seriousness, the severity of the hand of the Most High is growing across the planet. The time is now to begin to fear Yahuah like never before. Let me present something to you, my brothers and sisters. Proverbs 4:25 says, let your eyes look forward and your eyelids look straight before you. We will come to know the power in this verse when we find ourselves being delivered from the many distractions on this planet. John 6:44 says, no one is able to come to me unless the Father who sent me draws him, and I shall raise him up in the last day. We, O Yasharal, will come to understand what it means to be drawn of the Almighty Father Yahuah. He will draw us and deliver us from all the many strongholds, distractions that causes us to be weighted down and walk as sluggards. He will deliver us, and we will find ourselves embracing a sense of urgency, for his word will be fulfilled. His schedules, his timeline will come to be, and it will not be based on whether or not we respond to him. I submit to you, there will be a response. If I ask you, who do you think will win the battle? The Almighty Father Yahuah, or us in our stiff neck and stubbornness? We say we believe the scriptures. We say we wholeheartedly seek set apartness. Many echo constantly that they are Torah observant. Many echo that they seek to walk in the fullness of the Spirit of Yahushua Messiah. But yet in our actions, we lack a sense of urgency. We lack the need to fear Yahuah and begin to attentively look, listen, and search his words, search his spirit, search his guidance for us as individuals and for Yasharal. My brothers and sisters, during the time that we will begin to witness the drawing of the children of obedience, we will see that the time of play will be laid waste. We will see that the time for patronizing one another will be moved aside, and we will find ourselves sharpening iron, like iron sharpening iron. We will find ourselves being used by the Spirit of Yahushua to refine us in living instructions. We will witness what his discipline is. The servants consisting of the 144,000 and great multitude as mentioned in Revelation 7, chapter 7. We have been sealed in our foreheads. Our generation is about to witness the wrath of the Almighty Father like never before seen and recorded in man's history with such magnitude. We will see it, and we who will be among the children of obedience will come to realize what it means to not be appointed to his wrath. But we will find ourselves journeying together. We will come from the four corners of the earth Consider these words, O listener. There has never been over 7.2 billion people on this planet. Also be mindful, there have never been mass destruction as described in Revelation chapter 6, verse 8, and Revelation chapter 9, verse 18. Together, these verses, at the very least, describe well over 3.6 billion people who will soon face death and destruction. Yes, death and destruction. This will occur during the Great Tribulation, which is soon to be made clear to us. If you do the math, 1/4 of the population destroyed during the opening of one of the seals, it will equal roughly 1.8 billion people killed. And if you later read on in Revelation 9:18 and you see a third killed at the sound of one of the trumpets, that will equal another 1.8 billion. Together, Revelations 6:8 and 9:18 represents well over 3.6 billion people killed, leaving roughly 3.6 billion people alive. And among those will be the children of Yahuah, those gathered from the four corners of the earth, 144,000 in a great multitude, as well as those who will succumb to the wiles of the anti-Messiah, known by many as the Antichrist, and the false prophet and their beast system. End time prophecies are unfolding, my brothers and sisters, and there will be forced transition of all who are physically alive, who will remain alive until the physical return of Yahushua Messiah. The time is now to begin fearing Yahuwah. The time is now to take on a position unwaveringly. I say again, fear Yahuwah. There is no escape of what is about to unfold. The magnitude, the force, will be undoubtedly proven to be as a result of the hand of the Almighty Father Yahuwah. Over the last 3 to 5 years, an awakening to the realities of what has been written in scriptures have been unfolding. And over the next 3 to 5 years, like never before, and over the next 3 to 5 years, I believe, if not sooner, we will see attention ignited towards the Almighty Father. We will see attention begin to erupt with people earnestly seeking to discern what must be done. We will see the wrath of the Almighty Father become so intense, it will be a disruption in business as usual or our day-to-day routines. People will begin to scramble seeking to discover fresh air, fresh water, food in a safe place as natural and man-made disasters and cataclysmic conditions erupt and become widespread. As war began to enlarge among people over water and food and economies and governments, we will witness forced movement of earthquakes, as erratic weather patterns, as tornadoes, and more converge on man like never before. There will be forced migrations. The comfort that we have right now where we live will soon be pulled from under our feet. My brothers and sisters, pray. There are also individuals who are experiencing the living instructions from the Spirit of Yahushua in our speaking. Let us be mindful of them. Let us be careful and not to dismiss the words from the obedient of the Spirit of Yahushua. Pray and watch, my brothers and sisters. I strongly urge each and every listener to these words to begin fearing Yahuwah and discovering the path laid before our very eyes. The time of slothfulness will soon end. The time of being lazy or continuously gathering with compromising groups, fellowship, and camps, etc., will soon be brought to an end. We will face a refinement that will bring the obedient together as we are drawn by the Almighty Father Yahuwah through his set-apart Spirit, sent in Yahushua's name. I pray, my brothers and sisters, that each of us individually, each and every one of us, begin to fear Yahuwah like never before and discover the life in the following passages. And ask yourself, is this a time where it is extremely important to fear Yahuah? Consider Proverbs 1:7. It reads, "The fear of Yahuah is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and discipline." Proverbs 3:7 says, "Do not be wise in your own eyes. Fear Yahuah and turn away from evil." Proverbs 14:26. "In the fear of Yahuah is strong trust, and his children have a place of refuge." Notice that it says his children have a place of refuge. This will become very vital as we witness erratic weather patterns, as we witness the degradation of this planet, where climate change forces many people to migrate. We will witness that true refuge will come through Yahushua Messiah, and he will direct our paths as we find ourselves being gathered from the four corners of the earth. Proverbs 15:33 says, "The fear of Yahuah is the discipline of wisdom, and before esteem is humility." Proverbs 23:17 and 18 says, "Do not let your heart envy sinners, but be in the fear of Yahuah all day long. For certain there is a hereafter, and let your expectancy not be cut off." Let us endure, my brothers and sisters. The time is now to begin to fear Yahuah, the Almighty Father, like never before, to yield to his set-apart spirit sent in Yahushua's name. And be mindful, my brothers and sisters, there's a difference between just ordinary fear, in other words, fearing what man can do to you, versus the fear of Yahuah. There is a difference. One brings about knowledge and wisdom and understanding. One brings about obedience, while the other is merely reactionary to wicked influences. Let me read two more verses. Matthew 10:28 says, "And do not fear those who kill the body, but are unable to kill the being, but rather fear him who is able to destroy both being and body in hell." John 14:27 reads, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid." My brothers and sisters, fear will come. Fear is going to rise among us as we witness cataclysmic conditions erupt more widely across this planet. Fear will come. We will be afraid in many ways, shapes, and forms. But to those of us who focus on the Spirit of Yahushua, to those of us who yield to the living orders and commands from the Almighty Father, Yahuah, through his set-apart Spirit sent in Yahushua's name, our fear will be the fear of Yahuah, fearing to not obey, the fear that will cause us to pause and seek earnestly to discern his living presence, his living direction for us. O Yasharal, this journey is real. Pray and watch. I have visited many camps, whether it be in person, visiting someone, or whether it be talking to someone. I've seen many and many different types of fellowships and religions echo the claim that they do not fear anything, that they're not afraid. I've heard people say, "I'm not afraid, Yah will take care of me. I'm not worried, Yah will take care of me. I don't fear anything." And I've seen this echoed very strongly and frequently among many when the discussion of end-time prophecy fulfillment comes about. But yet I don't see one pausing and saying, "The only one I fear is Yahuah." I have visited and or heard individuals talk about not afraid of anything. I submit to you, I encourage you to ask them questions to get them to clarify what they mean by those words. For such words oftentimes promote and fuel non-responsiveness, laziness, a lack of urgency. Those who say they do not fear anything, I submit to you, they are lying. Every physical being that is walking this planet, there is something that they, for all know that these earthen vessels have a finite time on this planet. Whether atheist, religious, or a believer, We all know that there is a time, an appointed time, when these bodies will go back to the dirt. And given that the flesh war against the spirit and the flesh desires to save itself, there is fear of nothing more than fear from the flesh itself, not wanting to go back to the dirt. I submit to you, my brothers and sisters, let us not be worried of such. Let us fear Yahuah and be concerned with obeying and worshiping Him. So fear is not a bad thing when you fear Yahuah. It is a wicked thing when you fear what man can do to you. Now allow me to ask you, have you ever witnessed the actions of a coward or a liar? Have you ever heard a person say one thing boldly with confidence, and when put to the test, they relent, they retreat, or flee from the challenge? Have you ever had a friend you thought was close to you, who would stick by you no matter what conditions, no matter what circumstances, only to discover that that friend was not as true, as close as you thought? I submit to you, just as you have experienced that, there will be many, even among the brothers and sisters who consider themselves set apart. We will witness many cowards, many liars, be brought out, be exposed as end times become intense. We will begin to discover those who are truly our brothers and sisters walking in obedience. It does not mean that we will become passive and do any and everything for any and everyone, but it means we will be strong and hold firm to the living convictions and orders from the living Spirit of Yahushua as He directs our footsteps. And to those who are unable to discern, pain and regret will come. My brothers and sisters, do not the scriptures speak of those betraying us? Could not these represent those who claim to not fear anything, but are lying, but are cowards, but are fallen and overtaken by wicked influence? Could not these be among the ranks of those who will betray us? The time is now to fear Yahuah. I will pause right here for part one of this multi-part segment, and I invite you to continue listening, my brothers and sisters. We are entering and have entered into the most trying of times, and they will become intense. Fear Yahuah, my brothers and sisters, and discover the knowledge, discover His living presence, discover the wisdom and set apartness, and respond. Until next time, stay tuned for part two of this multi-part segment. Shalom, shalom, shalom.